So, hello, listeners, and welcome again to another episode of Real Talk for Coaches. I am your host, Dr. Dawn Reid, aka Coach Dawn, and you guys know I'm always excited. Everybody who listens to the podcast know I just love talking, and I love talking to amazing coaches who can give you great information, not just as a coach, but also for your own personal edification. So, with that being said, I'm going to open up and I want my guests to introduce themselves. And you guys know my philosophy. They can tell you better than I can tell you. So I'm going to start off with Coach Keisha. Please let our listeners know who you are.
Hi, Ms. Dawn. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Keisha Devine. I am a soul alignment coach. I like to call myself a spiritual chiropractor. I help people, get their chakras in alignment and find that alignment in mind, body, and spirit to help them get on their path to purpose.
I love it. Oh, I love that. I love that. I just started getting into chakra and I just got a book reading about it, getting all aligned and all that good stuff. Very excited. Very excited. Coach Joshua, talk to us. Tell us who you are, sir.
All right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, my name is Joshua Waiters and I'm originally from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I currently reside in the Atlanta area.
Oh.
And I am a purpose. My specific niche is purpose and spirituality. So, I've been through a lot of my life, and I feel as if there's a lot of us that are out there that just don't have any direction, and they don't have a compass or a roadmap or anything. They're just spinning those wheels. They're just trying to figure out their life. So we're going to incorporate spirituality and help you and get you, on the right road where you need to be with purpose and live a purposeful life.
Thank you, Coach Josh. And my listeners know I love having male coaches on, because one of the things, and I'm telling you this from a research psychologist perspective, and being in the coaching industry for over 10 years, like one of the struggles is having male coaches because it's a really female dominated industry, but more particular is having African-American or Black male coaches. And there's such a need for more men, particularly men of color in this industry. So I always hold a lot of space and honor when we have male coaches on, but particularly male coaches of color. So Joshua, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you here, and we welcome you.
Thank you so much.
So for those of you who'll be listening and not seeing the video, I'm rubbing my hands together because I'm ready to get started. So this topic is important to me a lot. And I had to do a lot of growth over de-stressing and resting over the holiday. And I think all of us can attest to this. During this time, like right now, we've seen Big Mama and Grandmom and aunties in the kitchen, and they starting to prep. They starting to buy, they starting to shop, they starting to clean the house from top to bottom. I can remember as a kid, I dreaded the holidays. I loved them and dreaded them at the same time because the prep work, we worked our butts off. And so much so that you are so exhausted by the time the holiday gets here to enjoy it. And so one of the things I've been doing for the last couple of years is trying to really look at how can we better manage this? Because as I've gotten older, I started to go, this don't really make a lot of sense to me. Like it really didn't. And so I want to share my thoughts, and I want you guys to share your thoughts on first, what do you think is the trigger for us, I'm going to say, losing our minds during this time and putting just so much out there during the prep for the season? What do you think is triggering that for most of us? And Coach Keisha, I'm going to let you start off the conversation.
I think it's expectations, this expectation to get certain gifts, this expectations to show up at all of the holiday events, this expectations to prepare a beautiful meal and have your home ready for your family. We're just trying to live up to everyone's expectations and not taking time for self. So by the time the holiday gets here, you can't even enjoy it because, like you said, you are literally so depleted, so exhausted because you have poured all of your energy into all of these different outlets, like trying to make this such a special holiday that now you can't even enjoy it with your family.
Expectations. Yep. I feel that. And I can say, even from personal experience, it is this expectation of, I want everyone to have a good time. I want the house to be clean, and I want the food to be magnificent. And so you really seriously stress yourself out because you want everything to be perfect, because you want everybody to feel good. Thank you. Yep. Expectations. Coach Josh, what you got? What's your thoughts on this?
Oh man, to really piggyback on that, I would have to say the same thing. I would have to say, when we kind of wind down, a little bit towards the end of the year, and the holidays are starting to approach, you start to feel that anxiety build up. You start to feel that your stress levels raise, and having to meet demands and meet obligations to get this gift and that gift. And like you said, the stress in your mind mentally, it's exhausting to try to make sure that everything is perfect, and it could be overwhelming. And sometimes we forget about ourselves, and when it comes to us and when we're not okay, other people around us can see that and they can sense that. So I feel as if it's important to take that time for yourself, take that daily ritual for yourself to meditate, to pray, to take the time and just inhale and exhale and say, you know what, I can say no sometimes. Say no, I'm not going to be able to do that. I can send you a card, I love you, but I'm not going to be able to do that this year. It's okay. And it'll make you feel good at the end of the day.
No, it really is. And we're going to really pull back that onion, because that's an important word that you just said. And something that you also said, Coach Josh, that really resonate. And I used to feel it, and I'm sure our listeners can relate to what you just said, is you start to feel anxiety before the holidays even get here. Like, I used to get like at least 2 weeks beforehand, or when November hit, all of a sudden I can feel my anxiety starting to rise. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta touch up paint. Oh my gosh, I gotta wash the rug. Oh my gosh, I gotta change all the curtains. Oh my gosh, I gotta fix this and I gotta fix that, and I gotta start buying this and I gotta look at that. And all of a sudden I'm like in this mode. My brain has just flipped because now I'm so busy trying to get things in order. And I realized also, like, as a coach, which was really interesting. And that's what kind of flipped my brain around to go, wait, this don't make sense. Why are we doing this? Because I also noticed around this time, a lot of my clients, no matter what they came in to ask for, whether it was for business or anything else, they started to freak out around this time, trying to get prepared for the holidays, and they couldn't think about anything else. So I do find it interesting that you said that, Coach Josh, that we start to get anxiety even way before the holidays even get here. So that leads me into my next question, Coach Keisha, and that is, what are the 3 mistakes you think we make as human beings?
Lack of self-care, lack of self-care, lack of self-care. We abandon self completely for the holidays because, again, it's just this first of all, the society that we live in, they commercialize this so much, and there's just this pressure, to like celebrate in a certain way. And so you're working like a dog, especially right now. A lot of people, money is tight.
Money's tight. So people
that is a big anxiety for a lot of people. And so people are working like a dog, they're picking up extra shifts, trying to like make sure they can get everybody everything. They're not asking for help. We don't ask for help. We think we can take on all these things. Why is Big Mama the only one cooking everything at Thanksgiving? And why is this a 4-day preparation when I have 20 people come into my house? Everybody bring a side. Take off some of the stress. Like, why are you put so much on you and forget like to delegate? We don't delegate.
That right there. And yes. And that was something that I know in our household that changed quickly. Whereas we also, okay, everybody bring a dish. What's your best dish for the holiday?
Yeah.
Bring it. Oh, you can't cook? So you could go buy utensils, you could get water, you could get juice.
You will come with something. Don't come with something.
Yes. Thank you. She said, self-care. Yup. Coach Josh, what's your thoughts on that?
I actually, I would have to say definitely not resting enough, working to the extreme, and just that overexhaustion, are the three major, things I would have to say the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's Coach Keisha, right?
Yep.
Coach Keisha. Like Coach Keisha was saying, just not indulging into your self-care. I mean, just completely neglecting yourself, and it's crazy because I was actually talking to a guy. He's actually a business owner, and I'm an entrepreneur myself. And he was just saying something like, this guy, he worked for so many years. Forgive me, I'm sorry. It was actually my sister. And this guy worked for so many years. He worked and worked and worked and worked. And once he, got up into age and got older, he accumulated $4 million. But shortly thereafter, he accumulated that money. He died, passed away. Why? Because he neglected himself. And I feel as if that's, we have to, it's having a strong work ethic is great.
True.
It's a great value to have, but at the same time, we need these bodies right here. We need these physical bodies to carry us along the journey, to get to the success that we want. So self-care is everything. I mean, we need to get more rest. We need to learn how to rest. We need to learn how to put our phones down and put our devices away.
Yeah.
And not be overexhausted. We need to just breathe. Breathe.
And I would even add, we need to listen to ourselves. And that's something that I tell a lot of my clients. And I'm gonna really make it personal. Like even myself, if I'm getting into that mode and I'm like, I'm really tired, or you know what, I've been going nonstop all day trying to get things prepared. I didn't rest. I didn't drink some water, right? I didn't get a bite to eat, right? And it's like, let me stop. I did enough for today. And I think it's also important that we have to learn to say when is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if maybe there's a spot here on the wall that we didn't get. It's okay if the macaroni and cheese is a little bit more brown than we wanted it to be.
I don't know about that one, Coach.
Oh, darn. Okay, not the mac and cheese. That has to be on point. We do have to get to the point, right? He's like, have to be. You got to get to the point where good enough is okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And so with that being said, I would love to hear what each of you have possibly learned for yourselves. Like, what were some teachable moments for yourself where you identify, I need to de-stress and get some rest and refocus? How would you like to start, Coach Keisha?
Ooh, well, this one just really hit home. And it was so funny you said listening to your body, because that is exactly what that lesson was reinforced with me just this past week. I was kind of just in this go mode and kind of just sneaking in the self-care here and there. And, I'm hearing the universe saying, hey, girl, sit down. And I'm like, okay, I'll take a day. And I took my day, or I took the weekend, and it's back to work. And literally, I was in the middle of a workout earlier last week. I did a bicep curl and my hip gave out. I did a bicep curl with my upper body and my hip completely gave out. And I was like bedridden for half the day because the universe said, okay, since you don't want to sit down, we're going to sit you down. And so it was my time. Okay, I hear you. Let me take some time to meditate and ground, reconnect with self. Let me be still. Let me journal and see what this is about. And, you know, and I had that moment of clarity. You're doing too much for everybody else. We need you to pull back and pour into self. So that's what's kind of like going into the holidays. I'm pulling back and just making sure I'm investing in me so that I can show up and be present and enjoy and not be overwhelmed and not overworked. So yeah, if you don't sit down, the universe will sit you down.
Won't it though? Won't it though? Coach Josh, you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. That was good, by the way, Coach Keisha. That was well said. Yeah, no problem. I would have to say for me, guys, I do a lot of journaling. You know, I'm a very detail oriented kind of guy. My wife tells me all the time, she says, you write literally everything down. And I'm the type of person, you know, I like to pre-plan. You know, I mean, of course, tomorrow is not promised, but I'm all about pre-planning, you know, for the next day, you know, having an agenda to attack, you know, each and every day.
Absolutely.
And I'm the type of person, I have to have my 8 hours of sleep to function. I cannot function without 8 hours of sleep. At least give me 7 minimum.
Yes.
Yes.
I gotta have my rest. I gotta have my rest. And I think what keeps me sane is just, you know, like you were saying, just really listening to your body, knowing when you begin to become overexerted, you know, knowing when you're tense and it's time to just, you know, stop and just take a risk. You know, a rest. I mean, you got to listen to your body. And another thing that helps me is working out every day. You know, that you know keeps the stress down after a long, you know, long day. And you know, I think that's what keeps me sane. And prayer, you know, time with God and stuff like that to really ease my mind and calm my mind and focus in and things of that nature. So, you know, that's kind of like a ritual that I stick with.
And those items or points are definitely going to be a great segue into my next question. And before I ask my question, you know, like Coach Keisha as well, what ended up for me with kind of not just with my clients, what clicked for me was when my grandmother passed, because usually me and her would kind of get together and like do the whole ritual of cleaning and cooking. And once she passed and I felt like it was all on me, I did start to get the other family members to chime in. But then I noticed I'm still feeling overworked. I'm still trying to get the house together. I'm still in that it got to be perfect mindset. And one day I actually said, yeah, y'all, so I'm not doing Thanksgiving dinner. Matter of fact, me and the family, we're going to go hang out in Atlantic City. Don't know why I picked Atlantic City. I just said, you know what? We're going to go get a hotel room. We're going to go to a restaurant out there. And I went with what I felt like the universe was telling me. And did we not have the best time, the most relaxed time? I didn't have to worry about the house. I didn't have to worry about cooking. I didn't worry about food. And we walked on the beach. It was actually like 60 degrees. And I'm like, this was great. I'm like, this was the best. And after that, me and my family started our own tradition. We now go out to dinner versus like cooking and cleaning and worrying about it. Like, look, any family members want to come, the more the merrier. Like, let's all do this. But I'm not going to drive myself crazy cooking and cleaning because I can't enjoy the day, right? And so I do think that many of us have those pivotal moments in our lives where we go, enough is enough. And like you said, Coach Keisha, the universe will tell you when you need to make a pivot because it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. So thank you, Josh, because Coach Josh, you're leading us into a great segment of what's one tip one tip each of you would give, and I'm going to start with Coach Josh, that you would share that you think is very important for people to grasp or start to implement for themselves to de-stress and get some rest over this holiday season?
Well, one tip that I can share is, like you were saying, you felt so de-stressed when you made the decision to go to Atlantic City and say, I'm gonna gather around with friends and family, and we're gonna go to this restaurant. I'm not gonna worry about the house. I'm not worrying about anything, right?
Yep.
So just having the boldness and the confidence to be upfront, with other people, and family and friends, and saying, hey, I'm not doing that this year, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying no. So I think that's the first step, because that will alleviate a lot of anxiety and stress, because you're now holding yourself accountable,
Yes.
to those demands. You see what I'm saying? So, and just giving yourself a chance to take a load off. You work, and you never stop working, and you work yourself all the way into the holidays where you're working 50 to 80 hours a week. Take the time to enjoy just being present and enjoy the holidays and enjoy family and the people that you love.
And that's what's most important. Yeah,
exactly.
That is what's most important. And I'm telling you, when we did that, Coach Josh, the relief, the woosah moment I had when I made that decision, like you said, I gave myself permission to say, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I did. And I confirmed with the hubby. I said, hubby, I know you like Thanksgiving dinner. I said, but you cool with us? He's like, oh, woman, please. He's like, no, let's go enjoy ourselves. I'm like, yay. The kids didn't care. The kids was like, yeah, let's go to Atlantic City. Yeah. So you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think that's key. The one tip, give yourself permission to say no, or let's do something else. Right. Thank you. Love it. Coach Keisha, what you got to say, girl?
I loved Coach Josh's answer.
Me too.
Kind of just like that. I choose me.
Thank you.
But I'm going to say remembering your why. And it also ties into, just it's about family. It's about connection. It's about getting together and just being present in each other's space and just celebrating life. And when you can get back to your why, like you realize all these other things that you're doing and that are overwhelming you and stressing you, they're not even that important. Like it doesn't matter. Like you went to Atlantic City and had a blast with your family, like because it was about the connection. It was about us being able to be together and just enjoy this moment as a family union and just be grateful and enjoy life. So when you can remember your why and kind of like just get back to that original idea, it kind of like alleviates a lot of the unnecessary stress and burden that we put on ourselves.
Oh my God. Okay, listeners, y'all heard those two amazing tips. And it's so simple. Like it really is simple. We just gotta implement it and remember our why. Why are we doing this? It's about family. It's about being appreciative and all these beautiful different religions that celebrate different holidays, and they all have the same theme: goodwill, love, forgiveness, family, all of that. That's why we're observing these holidays in the first place. Not to make the house perfect. Well, I want to say not to make the food perfect, but I have to say I do need the food to be good. But you guys know what I mean. And so with that being said, because we're all coaches, right? And again, we have our clients that come to us. And I know for me, this is definitely a time where everybody is a little bit more high in anxiety. So as coaches, what's some thoughts that we as coaches can do? How can we help our clients kind of deal with this hump? Like what questions might you ask, or how would you partner with them in helping them de-stress and rest for the holidays? Coach Keisha.
I think immediately, if you come to me and you're stressed, I know that you haven't taken the time to invest in your self-care. So I'm going to tell you, are you being intentional about your self-care? Are you creating that space daily to make sure that you're pouring into you? Because when you're pouring into you and your cup is full, you're not overwhelmed by all these things. You have the energy to exert in these different products and activities that you have planned. You know, you can easily check off all the things on your list because you're full. But when you are just depleting yourself and not taking that time to replenish, that's when all the anxiety comes in. So I'm going to immediately question your self-care, and we're going to make sure that we're holding you accountable and you're holding yourself accountable to create that space daily to stay on top of just pouring into self.
Love it. Love it. Coach Josh, how would you work with your client?
I would have to say, what are your rituals? What are your daily rituals? What are you doing each and every day and being intentional about it? Like Coach Keisha was saying, I'm bad with names. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Is it Coach
Keisha? You got it. Coach Keisha, you got
it. Got it. Okay. But yeah, really just daily rituals, asking, hey, I mean, are you being intentional about, making those small deposits into you, like Coach Keisha said, your self-care? What deposits are you making on a daily basis? I mean, are you overexerting yourself? Are you, stressing out? Are you overwhelmed? I mean, what does your daily agenda look like? Okay. And if it's overloaded, then we need to, alleviate some of those and kind of, create some space for yourself, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's 30 minutes a day.
That's right.
Those small deposits will eventually become bigger deposits where you're taking an hour a day.
That's right.
Or 2 hours a day.
That's right.
Because you come first. Yep. And you're most certainly not going to be good for nobody else if you're not okay with you.
What? Exactly. Yeah. And you guys both said it very well. There's nothing really I wouldn't do differently either. Like you said, I would definitely ask questions around how are you holding space for self-care? I would definitely ask my clients things like, what would it look like if you weren't so stressed? Or what does de-stress look like to you? And help them kind of think about what are things that they can incorporate? Like you said, both coaches have said already, what can you incorporate the daily, not just by the end of the week or after the holidays or before the holidays, but every single day, what can you do to make that deposit in your own self-care? So absolutely. And so, yes, and as always, these discussions go by very quickly. We are already time to wrap up. I tell you, always have a good time. So any final thoughts that you would like to share with our listeners or your listeners about de-stressing and really getting some rest over this holiday season? Coach Keisha, I'll let you go ahead and share.
I'm going to reiterate, if you don't take the time for yourself, the universe will do it for you. And you don't want that to happen. So get ahead of it and make sure you're creating that space. Again, like Coach Josh said, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, creating that space every day and I would even recommend making that a part of your morning ritual, your morning routine. So before you even encounter other people in your day, you have already filled up self and your cup is full and you can get started on your day, feeling good and just spreading more of your fullness to people because you have it to give. A lot of times, you wake up, you didn't sleep well, you're cranky, you're running late for work, and you've already started off on a bad foot. Get that morning ritual in, pour into self, and it will all just flow. It'll all just flow.
I agree. Coach Josh, any final thoughts?
I would have to say, especially those out there, and I know this is kind of a different conversation, but I promise I'm going to be brief as I can. I want to focus my attention also to those that are out there that, feel alone during the holidays. Don't have any
Mm-hmm.
family, because that can increase anxiety as well.
That's
It can
true.
increase, a sense of depression and stress. And so to those, that are out there, just know that you are loved. There are people out there that do care, and don't feel that way. Don't feel like you're undeserving or nobody cares or nobody loves you, because they do. And I've had times to, where, growing up as the only child, in a 2-parent household, where I felt that, I felt that sense of loneliness and, things of that nature. But just know that, there are people that are out there that do care, so surround yourself around a community of people, whether it be a church or friends, positive people, healthy, start to build healthy relationships that are good for you, and it's good for your spirit, and like I said, just saying no, be bold and say, hey, no, I'm not going to cook that big meal this year. I'm going to go out to a wonderful restaurant and I'm going to enjoy my family. I'm not going to buy 50 and 100 gifts this year. No, I'm not doing it. So yeah.
What?
Those are my final thoughts.
Well, one, I got to say two things to that, because I'm glad you mentioned those who might be alone or who may not have a lot of family that they can get to during the holidays. And you're right, that's also a sense of anxiety. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Catholic, there are different faith-based organizations in every state, in every county. Connect with one. Even if it's not necessarily your faith, it's other people at a time where we're all mindful of just loving each other. The one time we know that we all try to love each other, go ahead and connect. And I think that is important. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Josh, because those who are alone, people tend to forget that there are people who are by themselves. So I do invite people to connect with other communities, as many as you can, so that you don't feel alone during the holidays. And those of us who know people who might be alone, like our neighbors or somebody, make a dish. Or when I order some food from the restaurant, I'll order an extra plate and deliver it to somebody who may be alone for the holidays. So I'm glad you did mention that. And this was just a really good, amazing conversation. And I'm so honored to have both of you on to share your thoughts and insights. And so with that being said, we do have a couple of people who are recording here with us, and they're here live. So I'm so excited to see everyone here in the chat. If anyone has a question, you can type it in the chat, or you can come off mute, and you're more than welcome to ask our guests a question, maybe get a specific tip around de-stressing and resting for the holidays. You got 3 coaches on the line. I mean, that's some good fortune right there.
Right?
So, right? Like 3 at one time. So please feel free, if you like, you can ask your questions. And while you guys are thinking, or maybe you might want to put something in the chat, I will let Coach Keisha and Coach Josh tell us how we can find you on social media or on the internet. Tell people a little bit more about you so that they'll know how to reach out to you. Coach Keisha, start. Yeah.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at The Daily Devine. That's kind of like, it started off as like my inspirational affirmation page, and then it just kind of grew into my business page. I do tarot spreads on there. I give coaching tips. I just all kinds of fun stuff and good affirmations. And you can also find me on my website at www.devinecoaching.com. And that's Devine.
Yay! First of all, I have to laugh because, I have been doing tarot readings for 5 years. I keep it totally separate from my coaching. I have been doing tarot readings for 5 years.
Really? I incorporate it with my coaching and I love it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to talk offline. I just got me some new tarot cards today too. Isn't it addicting? I'm sorry, Coach Josh, introduce yourself. Me and Coach Keisha going to talk about this.
Yes, ma'am.
She said y'all gonna go offline and finish
We're
that
going to go offline and talk about this.
Well, yeah, you could. Well, yeah, guys, you can follow me on IG, on Instagram at JW Elite Coaching, and I'll spell that out. That's JW Elite ELITE Coaching. So it's JW Elite Coaching. You can follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of content there, a lot of inspiration, spiritual nuggets and things of that nature. Also, my website, you can book me for a one-on-one coaching session through Josh. Was actually www, I'm going to be specific, www.josh, Josh, not my full name, Joshua, but Josh, JOSH Waiters, WAITERS.com. So it's joshwaiters.com. That's my website.
I'm not going to be mad at you for being clear because I do the same thing because I always got to do the REID because people think REED. So I'm like, REID. So no, all good. We wanted to be clear because I want people to be able to reach out to you guys if they have any further questions or if they would like to reach out. And we did have Jasmine in the chat. She said, this was amazing information. Thanks, coaches. Yeah, it is. And like I said, it always go by quickly. But it is good stuff. And I am so, again, honored. I want to thank both of my special guests, Coach Keisha Devine and Coach Joshua Waiters, for being our special guest for this month. So please make sure you guys go out there, check them out. Just you guys know, I love the coaches that come onto my show because it's just amazing people. And this was an amazing opportunity. And you guys already know how to get in contact with me, rereadycoaching.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. You find me. I'm on Pinterest. I'm all. I just got on TikTok. See, I always tell people I'm old fashioned. I'm like, I'm not doing all that dancing stuff. What am I doing? But I did finally get on TikTok. So woo. But no, thank you guys again. And everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving. Please enjoy your Thanksgiving. And I hope this segment gives you a different perspective of how you're going to enjoy your Thanksgiving. So everybody, you know my phrase, go out there and create awesome sauce for yourself and for others.